All right, so we have the recording set. And like I was telling you, this is module 3, part 3.3. It's the conclusion plus the bonus present moment awareness. So today we're going to talk about present moment awareness live. It's a little bit long, but as you know, we are only gonna get the juice out of it, because then David talks about Q&A and other stuff. So are you gals ready? Yes, there you go, Rose. Thank you.
Yep, I'm good.
Thank you. And I know you're driving, Sean. Okay, so where is it? There we go. Okay, wait. I wasn't sharing that screen. I'm sorry. I was almost taking notes and everything, and you weren't there. Wait, what's going on? Okay. Sorry for that.
Okay, so chapter 6, attention. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. James 1:8. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus. That is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation. It is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only. Listen to this. Just listen to this for a minute. I mean, everything, all the videos that I create and everything that I've gone over recently, how close is that to, I know Neville Goddard says it in a different way, but listen to this. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus. That is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation. It is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only. For you steady the attention and increase its power by confining it. The desire which realizes itself is always a desire upon which attention is exclusively concentrated. For an idea is endowed with a power only in proportion to the degree of attention fixed upon it. Concentrated observation is the attentive attitude directed from some, they got a one there, I think it's like a typo, from some specific end. The attentive attitude involves selection, for when you pay attention, it signifies that you have decided to focus your attention on one object or state rather than the other. Therefore, when you know what you want, you must deliberately focus your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling fills the mind and crowds out all other ideas out of consciousness temporarily, okay? Don't think that you have to do this all day long, okay? No one can do this all day long, all right? It gets more simple, but truly holding your attention on that in the present moment where it crowds out all the other ideas from the simulation out of your mind and you truly feel that this wish is already fulfilled within you, that's when you can detach from it or let it go, and then just stay in a state of gratitude throughout the day. That's all you have to focus on the rest of the day. It's just being appreciative of the world that you're living in and not completely falling out and being in a state of lack. So the power of attention is the measure of your inner force. Concentrated observation of one thing shuts out other things and causes them to disappear. The great secret of success is to focus the attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled without permitting any distractions during that moment of inception. Like, especially like before you go to sleep at night. This is really when this counts. All progress depends upon an increase of attention. All progress. Listen to these words. And this is what I've learned over the years has been the most important part about manifestation or creating the life that you want. All progress depends upon an increase of attention. The ideas which impel you to action are those which dominate the consciousness, those which possess the attention. The idea which excludes all others from the field of attention discharges in action. The one thing I do, this is Philippians 3:13 and 14 out of the Bible. This one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind. This is about attention. I press towards the mark. This one thing that I do, forgetting those things that are behind, I press towards the mark. Philippians 3:13, 14. This means this one thing you can do, forgetting those things that are behind, focusing your attention, not allowing any distractions during that short interval of time with the inception point. You can press towards the mark of filling your mind with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So to the unenlightened man, this will seem to all be fantasy. Yet all progress comes from those who do not take the accepted view, nor accept the world as it is. As was stated heretofore, if you can imagine what you please, and if the forms of your thoughts are as vivid as the forms of nature, you are, by virtue of the power of your imagination, master of your future, master of your fate, master of your destiny. Your imagination is you yourself. Your imagination is you yourself. And the world as your imagination sees it is the real world. Remember, everything is from within. Imagination creates reality. What you are imagining, what you see yourself doing in your imagination is the real world when it becomes so vivid that you're experiencing it to be real. That's the real world. That is the real you, not in the simulation that you're experiencing now. The real you is within you. That's where the real you resides. And when you can establish your attention, present moment awareness, and visualization skills, visualizing from that event, that's the real you that you can create, where you are master of your future, master of your destiny. Your imagination is you yourself. So when you set out to master the movements of attention, which must be done, here we go. All right, so hold on, I'm going to stop for a second. Okay. When you set out to master the movements of attention, which must be done. Listen to Neville Goddard's words here. When you set out to master the movements of your attention, which must be done, if you would successfully alter the course of observed events. All right. I just really want to emphasize this, okay? This is what I've been covering for a while now and what I've learned. All right, so I want to emphasize this, which must be done if you would successfully alter the course of observed events, establishing your attention. It is then you realize how little control you exercise over your attention. When you start doing the leaf exercise, the reverse course, this is when you realize how little control and exercise you have over your imagination. And you start to realize why your world isn't the way you want it to be, because you have no control over it. You haven't established these facilities of your mind to where you can actually control the inner world where everything originates, where the real world is your imagination. And if you don't have attention and present moment awareness controlling what's happening within you and the pictures that you're seeing and the thoughts, the inner dialogue, the states of consciousness, then it's not going to be the world that you want it to be. And you realize this when you start doing these exercises, that you realize how little control you exercise over your imagination and your world, and how much it is dominated by the sensory impressions within the simulation. All right, this is when you realize this. It is dominated by the sensory impressions, by the drifting of tides of idle moods and, distractions. To aid in mastering the control of your attention, practice this exercise. Okay, so this is, Neville Goddard says attention here, but really attention and present moment awareness kind of go together. Once you establish one, the other one kind of comes with it. But when you tackle them both separately, like doing the leaf exercise and this, it increases the ability to be able to do it. Like it magnifies the amount of time it's going to take you to really establish these facilities of your mind. So here's the exercise we're going to cover right here. And also we can go over the course. Let's see here. Let's scroll way down, Christine. I believe that this course is in the classroom, if Ramsha can verify that real quick with us. But I'm going to post videos there as well, new videos that aren't in there yet about I just want to make sure that the PDF is in there. I'm pretty sure that it is. I think I saw it in there. All right, so night after night, just before you drift off to sleep, strive to hold your attention on the activities of the day in reverse order. Is there anyone in here that hasn't done this yet? Okay, so focus your attention on the last thing you did, that is getting into bed, and then move it backwards in time over the events until you reach the first part of it. So I'm going to explain this. All right, so for example, if I was going to do this tonight and I'm laying in bed, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do the events of the day in reverse order. So say, okay, so what was the last thing I did? I took a shower, brushed my teeth, did, that's the first event that I'll run forward. So I go to the beginning of that event when I took a shower, when I brushed my teeth, and then I'll remember specifically what I did. The soap, the toothpaste, how I brushed my teeth. What was I thinking about, like, while I was brushing my teeth? What was going on? Did I have any conversations, or what was I thinking about? What was I doing? Exactly. How many strokes did I, on the right hand, did I brush my teeth with the right hand or left hand? How did that work? And just try to get specific with exactly what I did, and then once I get to the beginning of that scene, then I'll go to the scene before that, whatever I was doing before that, editing or creating content, or, scripting or reading a book, or whatever I was doing before that, or I was eating dinner. You run those events. And then if it was eating dinner, you remember what you ate exactly. What was the placement of the food on your dish? What did you drink? Did you have any conversations? Did you check your phone? What were you doing? Specifically, you want to run these ideas in your mind, and really good for present moment awareness. Then you run back to the scene before that. What were you doing before that? Maybe you're at the gym, and then what exercise, what body parts did you work out? What were you drinking? Who did you speak with? What car did you drive, or what gym did you go to, or whatever. All the specific, like, little things that you did. Try to be as detailed as you possibly can, and do this for 10, 20 minutes until you get really good at it. And then you can maybe do it for 30 minutes. But just even attempting to do this for 10 minutes is going to be tremendous for your present moment awareness and your attention development. All right, so I will continue here. All right, so focus your attention on the last thing you did, that is getting into bed, and then move it backwards in time over the events until you reach the first event of the day, getting out of bed. So you go all the way back till you got out of bed. This is no easy exercise, but just as specific exercises greatly help in developing specific muscles, this will greatly help in developing the muscle of your attention. Your attention must be developed, controlled. Oh, here we go again. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully and thereby change your future. All right, so I want everyone to focus on this right here. Oops. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully. Temporarily, possibly, without it. But to successfully alter the course of your future and change your states of consciousness, you must have a developed, controlled attention. All right, so imagine it, and this is the reason, because your imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction of your attention. This is why this is so important, because imagination is you. It is everything. And when you have developed your attention, your imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction and power of your attention and present moment awareness. So, if you persist night after night, sooner or later, you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self, the real you. Attention is developed by repeated exercise or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so in course of time gives rise to a facility or faculty, which then can be put to higher uses. When you attain control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. You will walk in the assumption of the wish fulfilled as on a foundation more solid than even earth. I love his language. So powerful, you know. I love that. You will attain control of the internal direction. You will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. I love that. All right, so let's jump back over here. So we have any questions on this? That's all I wanted to cover here. I just wanted to cover this. If anyone has any questions about this course and what they have to do, and we'll do some Q&A here as well. But let me do something here. Let me try something. I'm trying to figure out how to do this well. Video capture, window capture. Nope, that didn't work. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see, right here.
You go to sleep feeling successful and feeling like things are working out for you beautifully, and you go to sleep while doing that, then that will happen to you. Because whatever you feel when you go to sleep tonight is what's going to happen to you for the next few days and for the next few years. And everything in your life is already set. It's all set, and it's going to happen unless you change it. And you have the privilege of changing it. I told you the story about Tony. Tony came to me and said, this stuff that you're teaching, this positive thought, is the silliest thing in the world. He says, but there's one thing you could do for me that would convince me. I want you to tell me something that's going to happen that I know will never happen, and it cannot happen. I took the challenge and started thinking of something. We had the Arthur Murray studio in Reno. Reno was 40,000 people. It was on the very last page in the last group of a thing that was mailed to us every week. And I said, Arthur Murray will throw a convention for the Reno studio. Tony said, that will never happen. We're the very last number on the very last page of the book that comes out every week. I did an exercise of I'm looking down and I'm looking at my hands and I can hear a huge crowd. I start raising my sight until I see two microphones. I see a microphone right here and a microphone next to me. Now I see the microphone and I look up and see the crowd. They've come to see me. And I look to my right and there he is, Arthur Murray is walking up the stage and he comes down and sits beside me to talk on that microphone. We hit 800% of what we were supposed to do, and Arthur Murray threw a convention in Las Vegas for us. People were writing us. We were getting letters every day. What the are you doing? I would always answer it. I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing the best I can.
I love that. Sorry, I wanted to play that again. All right, so let's do some Q&A here.
Well, just like the boss said, let's do some Q&A here. First of all, I don't know if you realized when David was playing the video, If you could see his face, he was proud of the video that he made. Well, that's what I'm getting right now. Welcome, Terence. Welcome, Krista. Welcome, Daniel. Welcome, my friends.
Yeah, hi James.
Nice seeing you. I was worried about you, Terence. I was worried about
I just forgot about it, mate. Got it to do with something else that I just realised. That's all. My library's on. I forgot all about it.
you.
Good to see
Yeah.
you back anyway, mate.
Excuse me.
I said good to see you back anyway.
Oh yeah, thank you. Good to see you here. And yeah, I don't know. I think Rose and Sean had to go. Well, probably they're busy. But okay, so I was taking some notes regarding awareness, no attention. I mean attention, and regarding the video that we were watching right now. So, what do you guys think? Were you able to get some points out of this?
Yeah, I from what I got from the video, or from before David played his grandfather's video, it seems like the secret is a controlled vivid attention. Because if you take whatever you take into SATs, so the drift, as David says it, would impress the subconscious mind. And from using myself as an example, I don't know, maybe because I have deep subconscious imprints that unless I do SATs or take stuff into the subconscious mind, into the drift, it's quite difficult for me to manifest. I don't know, maybe because my subconscious mind, my impressions are quite strong. But I know if I'm doing stuff like throughout the day, like affirmations or even keeping positive, yes, that does help me with my mental diet during the day. But if my attention is not strong to take something into the drift, then I notice it would be hard for me to manifest. So from what I got from that video, from what David was saying, it seems like the secret is a controlled, vivid imagination. You need to be able to control and sustain that, whether it's just 10, 20 seconds, and then take it into the drift. And I actually noticed from when I started doing the leaf exercise, when I joined back on the 6th and I started the leaf exercise, that I wasn't even aware how bad my attention was. And I've had friends who introduced me to Neville Goddard. And then after a while, they would say, oh, this doesn't work. And even sometimes I would be like, oh my God, this doesn't work. What's going on? But from doing the leaf exercise, that's how I realized how bad my attention was. I had no clue that my attention was that bad. And then from watching the course again and cutting out social media, music, even TV, the impact of, from just being able to do one leaf to doing 15 to 20, how much of all that noise was having an impact on me. It's just so unbelievable how severe it was that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true, and that's actually something that many of us experience when we are doing when we want to visualize. I have the same issues. I was going to bed, and then still time to time, if I go to bed and I'm really tired, it's hard for me to visualize something like something specific instead of something like random, like really random. But I was able once or twice, I don't know, to hit 50 leaps, and that was beautiful. I felt myself really focused, really centered.
Mm.
But I got, a little bit cocky. I was like, yeah, I got it. This is the thing, and I'm the creator and everything. So I stopped doing the leaf exercise. I stopped doing the reverse course. I stopped doing gratitude, and I start engaging with the 3D. And when I realized, uh, there I was back in my old self concept, having all
Mm.
these bad things that I don't want in my life and everything. And then I had to redo it. So this is something that we have to really grasp, because if we haven't actually changed, like in the core, like deep change, our old concept, if the old concept persists, sooner or later, it's going to come sooner or later.
Mhm.
And the best example that we have is David. So David was controlling, and for as we can tell, in 2 or 3 years, he made, from my perspective, he made more things than I was able to do in 10 years. And then his old concept came back, and that's why we are here. And but that's something good, because at the end he needed to learn something. So I remember, not too long ago, I I asked David. I told him. I asked him, hey, sometimes the universe. I feel like the universe, or the 3D, or the simulation, or whatever you wanted to call it, um, test you. I feel like the life, my life is testing me, because I'm doing my life, I'm doing this, I'm doing the gratitude, and then something hits me. And,
Mm.
and that little thing that hits me makes me feel like the old concept again. And he told me back in those days, oh, okay, yeah, well, it's not like the simulation is testing you. And then we forward, some months. We moved, and now David is saying the same. The 3D is going to test you, because that happens. It does happen. So it's really important to have our attention. It's really important to work. And I really believe, it's if you're having something right now in your life, just return to the leaf exercise. Just return to the gratitude crash course, and just return to the reverse course. Because if you do this exercise, then you're going to start developing your mind. It's like a muscle. You don't hit the
Mhm.
gym 2 weeks, and then you expect to have all these figures, like awesome figure. No, you
Mhm.
have to work. Have to work. But yeah, thank you so much, Ify. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Am I pronouncing your name well?
Yeah, it is. You're pronouncing it right. It's iffy.
All right, Krista, how are you? What do you think about attention? I think you unmute yourself, but we cannot hear you. Okay, Terence, you want to share something?
Yeah, you were saying, what do I think about attention? Attention or intention? Yeah, it's something you got to work at. In the 80s, as quite a few people know, I did a lot of work in the 80s, and this was a good part of what she said. Yeah, I don't know how to make the mic work. Yeah, we had a good in the 80s working with different exercises to create intention and focus. And I didn't realize how bad my focus, intention, and communication was until I started doing these basic, very basic and easy exercises. And then afterwards, after a couple of days of these exercises, realizing how bad my intention and focus actually was. I didn't realize it was bad until I started doing the exercises. And about a week later, I went out and started comparing myself with other people and thought I was like that a few days ago or a few weeks ago. And if you persevere with it, like anything else, it does change you for the better. But it does take practice and perseverance.
It does. It does take practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I done it for
Thank
a
you.
long time and got a lot out of it, but I did have to put a lot of work into it, a lot of time into it, and do it every day. The same as David said, you can't do it for a couple of days, then leave it. You've got to keep at it and keep doing it. And the more you do it, the better you get, like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually right.
Yeah.
It's actually right. You have to do it constantly, you know. You have to, like a workout session, like anything that you want to develop. You want to develop the attention of your mind, you have to do the basics. For example, when um, I like sports, I used to play football. You know, not soccer. I used to play. Well, yeah, I used to play soccer also, but I used to play American football, and I used to do also track and field, 100 meters track and field. I was pretty good here in Mexico. I had medals and everything. And right now, I'm not all in that into sports. For example, the World Cup is coming, and we're gonna have it here in Mexico, US, and Canada. And actually, I'm not all that excited, even though we have a big stadium right here, like really close, and we know we're gonna have many events here in this city. But actually, I don't quite care about sports. But the point is not about what I wanted to share is not if I care about sports or not. It's even though these high performing athletes, they have to, they're not practicing new things, they're practicing the basics. You know,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan became
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, was doing the same movements, the same easy steps, 3 points, and everything. He done that thousands and thousands of times. Um, there's this basketball book from Kobe Bryant. Again, I'm not all into basketball. I don't even know about basketball, but he calls it, and I can I would like to recommend to you this book. It's called The Mamba Mentality, and basically he talks about the same. He talks about repetition. He talks about visualization. He talks about he was spending thousands and hundreds of hours doing the basics and practicing. So he became a really player, really well known player on the NBA. Sadly, he died, and well, we don't know anything more about him. But yeah, practice makes perfect. I think that's a quote, right?
Yes, yeah, practice makes perfect. I've heard a lot of people say about people say, I want to do the advanced stuff, I want to do the big stuff. And he said the basics are the advanced stuff. Because if you haven't got the basics, then you're gonna fall flat on your face. In the course I was in, the group I was in the 80s, me and Sean were talking about it Wednesday because when use Wednesday's set up there because when you went on Friday, me and Sean said, you said, can we go and use Wednesday's setup there? Because that was already set up. And we went in there for an hour. We were in there for over an hour talking and we were discussing all this stuff and going over all this stuff. And I said to her then, the basics are the advanced stuff. Because I said, if you haven't got the basics, you got nothing. You haven't got no platform or any foundation to build anything on. So he said the basics is the advanced stuff. Because he said, if you haven't got the basics, you try and build up into the advanced stuff and you fall flat on your face. And I found this when I was reading books, and we were told, get the basics right, get any misunderstood words cleared, and get the meanings and definitions of basic words, because they said you won't go any further. And I fell into that very same trap myself. I didn't clear the words, find definitions, and I found myself not being able to progress because I didn't know the basic words in their setup, because they had, like a lot of organizations and groups, got different words and different language to the rest of us, and I fell flat on my face because I did not learn the language that they were using in the books that I was reading.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It actually makes so much sense. And you've experienced many things regarding this, and it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure you have realized that it doesn't matter if it's Neville, if it's Trudeau, the one that we were talking the other day.
I was thinking of, it was Trudeau that said it, but no, it doesn't matter. It applies to anyone and anything.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same knowledge. Even if you when you read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, it's the same.
Yep.
Feeling
Yep.
is the secret. Feel it. That's actually the secret. From the book from Napoleon Hill, that's the secret. You have to feel it. You have to feel it, and then to become it once you feel it. But first, before you feel it, you have to practice. You have to get control of your mind. You have to quit bad habits. You have to realize, and also something that sometimes we don't talk about is that it doesn't matter how many affirmations, visualizations we are doing and everything. Sometimes we have something deep in our core, like something really, really, really deep in our core. Maybe we have a trauma that for something that we experienced when we were little kids. And if we don't connect, if we don't open that door, if we don't heal that little boy or that little girl that had some experience, and sometimes it's not like a huge experience. Sometimes maybe your parents say to you no when you were 7, and that was the worst thing that they could tell you, because maybe they didn't have the money in that moment to get you a lollipop. But for you, it was really deep. It was really deep. And you made a decision in that moment to never ask for something, or maybe you say to yourself, I'm not deserving of good things. And then you don't remember that right now. But if you connect with that little child, with that little teenager, you can find some things, and maybe your issue is not in the surface, it's deep down. I'm telling you this because I've realized that I have something in my inner deep. So I'm working with my inner child right now, and oh my God, guys, I have found many things, and that came out on the last C-Suite live that we had on Wednesday. Oh my God, we did this meditation talking about the inner child and everything. Oh my God, I was crying like a little girl. I don't mean any respect with all of you gals here, but you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. I was crying so bad. I couldn't speak, but I realized that sometimes we have these things in the deep, and I was trying to work with something above, not deep, above. And now it makes sense why. Yeah, I was seeing results, but then I came back. I see results, and then I go back. So, yeah, Terence, thank you for sharing.
But we've got to go down and down and down and down through the layers. You can't just go dig straight down. You've got to go down through the layers, because that pain will come back and smack you else. You got to go down and take the layers off. Go through the layers and take the layers off. Like peeling an onion, you go through, and it takes time. It takes time, And that release, those tears, that release is that release coming out. Because it's buried so deep, then you forget it's there. Then when you confront it, and that's half the thing, not confronting a situation, because people will turn their back. They can't confront it. It's too scary or dangerous to confront, so they don't confront it. If they don't confront it, it gets buried. And then 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, then they're trying to confront it. They forget it's there, and they get that painful experience. And they got to get all that out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point to have in mind, Terence. That's actually a really good point. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm gonna give you these little ones. All right,
That's
my
it.
friends. Who else wants to share? Pardon me? Okay. All right. Who else wants to share something? Really, really good things we are sharing right here today, my friends. Today, for some reason, I feel myself more grounded, more focused. It's weird, really weird. Well, hey, how are you doing with the challenge? Day 4. How are you doing, guys, with that? I know Terence is doing it. I don't know if you, Ify, and Sean, and Daniel, Chris, are you doing it?
Let's do it all right.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's going good.
Nice. Nice, nice. Nice.
I don't start yet.
You haven't started, Daniel?
No.
Yeah, you should. It's good. It makes you do 4 different things. They're really simple things, really simple things, but they take you. The point here is to do something different and focus on your well-being. So obviously you walk around. Obviously you stretch or something, or maybe not. When I was stretching yesterday, I realized that I wasn't able to reach as far as I used to do it maybe 2 years ago, because yeah, I work out and everything, but lifting weights doesn't help you to stretch. So it may be really conscious on. I was feeling myself a little bit stiff because I wasn't stretching, but that was a good one. And today I did a power posture, and that was a good one. There's actually some science behind that. If you place yourself on a power posture, something like that, like power posture, for 2 minutes, your testosterone levels are going to go higher, and then your cortisol levels are going to go down, only because of the posture. And they made some studies with people, rats, and everything. And it's a really good one. I will advise you to look for it. It's called the power posture. And that's something interesting right there. All right. Krista, are you able to talk, or were you able to fix that? Okay. That's weird, my friend. That's weird. I miss hearing you. Hopefully we can fix it. But everything happens for a reason. All right, my friends. So it was a really good live. I appreciate all of you for being here. I don't know if somebody wants to share something else before we bounce. All right. So thank you, my friends, for being here. Let's keep on with our day. I appreciate what you're doing, and let's stay focused on the goal. And I'll see you tomorrow with David.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Bye.
cheers, James. Cheers, man.
Take care. Bye, Krista. Bye, everyone.